Okay, let me start with the first question. The first question was explain the podcast's title, Multiculturalism Bites. And then I provided some clues. I said you'll hear some clues around 15 minutes in the podcast. First of all, in strict methodological terms, I think it's fundamental that you should keep in mind the titles of documents that you analyze. In this case, the title Multiculturalism Bites I think is interesting because it's problematic, and it really is problematic in itself. Um, Nearly all students actually got it wrong with this question, so I can only imagine that it's actually a difficult question. First of all, as a title, it strikes me that Multiculturalism Bites is actually very simple, very catchy. Well, not simple, but very catchy, very short. And then when you check out a title like this, it is supposed to draw your attention, and then you want to know more about this, and then maybe you want to listen to what Tariq Modood has to say about it. Bites is taken from the verb to bite, which is mordre in French, right? Which is what animals like dogs or I don't know, dogs at least. This is what they do. So how would you connect, I don't know, multiculturalism with a dog that might bite you in the street, a dangerous dog? Of course, it's an ironical title, and it's a title which, in a way, echoes the very negative meaning that multiculturalism has taken for a few years, or maybe even one decade or 15 years. Let me give you a few examples. In 2011, I think it was, there was the Security European Summit at Munich in Germany, where Angela Merkel, David Cameron, and former French President Nicolas Sarkozy actually discussed a few issues regarding violent extremism among certain Muslims, and that kind of thing. And the three of these very important European leaders, articulated very strong and very negative views of multiculturalism. The idea is that multiculturalism is dangerous, or potentially dangerous, because it generates separate communities that don't want to talk to each other, and that in the most extreme cases, this leads to jihadism, violent extremism, you name it. Now, some people, some colleagues, sociologists, political scientists, historians, have been critical of the critique articulated by David Cameron, for instance, at Munich. David Cameron, for instance, said that multiculturalism is a state doctrine which tends to generate very ghettoized, very separate communities. Now, a colleague like Tariq Modood in the UK is very critical of David Cameron, and I don't want to lie to you. I mean, I tend to agree with Tariq Modood by and large. So let me come back to the title here. The title is ironical in the sense that it exaggerates the problems with multiculturalism, very much in the same way as some politicians themselves have done, pretty much like Nicolas Sarkozy or David Cameron, or indeed Angela Merkel in Germany. So this is really what I meant with this question on multiculturalism bites. And because almost everybody got it wrong, obviously it's the kind of question that you probably wouldn't have at the exam, or if you had that question at the exam, we would have to neutralize the whole question and then move on to another question.